What's up, mortals? It's Date from the anime Underworld, and today we are back from break with chapter 249 of Four Nights of the Apocalypse, titled Prayer. What's left of the Four Nights of the Apocalypse are now back in the Kingdom of Leonis as we start off at a very familiar Four Hat Tavern. With their strongest player gone, what will the remaining Knights of Prophecy do next? Well, let's get into it. We begin chapter 249 with the hard-working citizens of Leonis just wanting to get a simple drink after a long, hard day of building. It isn't so hard for them to get a pint, but the soldiers of Leonis inform them, "Sorry folks, but make it another tavern tonight. The boar hat's being used for a VIP meeting. The castle's still being rebuilt, you understand?" They seem to understand, but for some reason, it sure is quiet in there. The silence is due to Gawain informing everyone about Lancelot's betrayal. They all now know what happened in Camelot. They may have found Arthur, but they had lost Lancelot. Everyone is in complete shock. The worst possible news. Even Shion is upset that him of all people would betray the Knights of Prophecy. However, it's his old friends that are taking the news the hardest, especially the other Knights of Prophecy. Percival is clenching his fist and bawling his eyes out. All Lancelot wanted, as Percival cries, was to protect the woman he cherished the most. While Lancelot's friends are sad of his betrayal, others are infuriated. Hauser questioning the Knight of Death. "So you don't blame him for turning traitor?" Yelling at the Knight of Prophecy. "He'll destroy the world to protect what's vital to him? What an insane contradiction. I hate to say it, but if sacrificing one life saves the world, then it simply must be done." Yeah, it's kind of like the trolley situation. Do you sacrifice one for the other, or sacrifice the others for one? Though we know which option Hauser would certainly pick. Even if Gila and Deanne don't really like that answer. As the giant queen just mocks him. "Yeah, that's why you still haven't found a wife." That's gotta hurt when you're being insulted by two ladies you had a crush on, dude. Regardless, they don't seem to comprehend just how bad this is, as Gothard tells them. Either way, things can't get much worse. To be frank, Cath Palug is a trifle compared to this, with even the Knight of Famine agreeing. I can't imagine there's a human being in the world who could take on Lancelot, she says in a room filled with the majority of Leonis' strongest warriors. But she has a point when informing them, if we had fled Camelot even a moment later, there's no guarantee we would be alive right now. Which shocks Deanne, asking, "Wait, did Lancelot attack you guys?" Fortunately, he did not, which is the problem. Gawain explains that Lancelot did not attack them at all, except release the magical power within him this entire time. That massive explosion was all of Lancelot's power built up inside him. The endless magical force was finally released for the first time in who knows how long. That was no magical attack. That was magical pressure and power that had been built up and held in for a long, long time. Like a very bad fart. Shion is furious at Lancelot's betrayal, biting his thumb. I swear he's gonna bite that thing off. And telling everyone, "I kept telling you all to consider the worst case scenario." But it's Balin, or Balin, I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name, who steps up to the challenge. It all sounds exaggerated to me. Strong as he is, he's just one holy knight. I can't imagine he's grown into that much of a threat. Balin the Invincible, or should I say Balin the Prideful, had to be reminded about the reality of the situation when informing him, "We're talking about a man who beat up the crazed four knights of evil, you know." And that doesn't dissuade Balin, rather it makes him want to fight him solo even more. Even Gawain is trying to talk him down. "You're a strong man, Balin, but he's a monster on a whole other level." Not gonna lie, I actually would like to see that fight in action. Balin, the man who's invincible to magic and physical attacks, as long as they're not at the same time, versus Lancelot. Who would win in a fight? Let me know in the comments. Donnie, on the other hand, tries to think of a plan. Yeah, but we got a tavern full of powerhouses here. If we all team up, not even he could hold out. I mean, it's worth a try. Galahad, much to the annoyance of his comrades of the Grail Knights, tries to defend his father's strength, points his finger to Donnie, and points out this fact. You have no idea what you're talking about. You have never seen Sir Lancelot when he really wants to fight. This infuriates Donnie and some of his comrades, who are just not happy with that response. And judging by their responses, they have no idea that they're from the future. Oh boy, what's Shion gonna say when he finds out that Issei is Tristan's kid? It's Gila who asks the very simple question, why are you sure of that? And the answer is simple. Galahad informs the Knights of Leonis and what's left of the 7 deadly sins. He never fights at full power when someone needing his protection is nearby. He bears the kind of force that could hurt them just as much as his opponent, much to everyone's shock. I've done a few videos talking about Lancelot's potential as the villain. Go check them out if you haven't already, they're pretty good. What Galahad is saying here confirms that Lancelot as the villain is the worst case scenario. It's Gowther who informs them all. Regardless, now that it's come to this, there's no longer any avoiding a clash with him. Hauser agrees, telling Lancelot's comrades, yeah, he's no Knight of Prophecy now. This is a Chaos Lancelot, one attempting to wreck the world. He then begins to walk off. We have to defeat him if we want to protect Britannia, glaring at anyone who wants to defend him. If you don't accept that, we'll be the ones dying.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Now that things are starting to slightly simmer down in the Boar Hat Tavern, Pelio asks, where is the Fairy King, by the way? With Deanne informing him that he went to inform Bon and Elaine. Oh boy, that's gonna be a very awkward conversation. And the human-sized Queen of the Giants gives a playful wink to Pelio, but we need folks here who can fight at least as well as me and Gowther, right?
We're doomed.
Unfortunately, it's at this moment that Tristan notices that it's not just King who's missing from the conversation, and asks, so where is my father? Yeah, no one told him. No one told him about what happened to his mother. It was just bad timing, yeah, but no one? Really?
Man, that's just mean. That's mean, man.
And it's here that Tristan picked up on the visual cues that something is wrong and booked it right out of the Boar Hat Tavern, straight back to his home. As he left, Issei looks to Gawain and asks, by Prince Tristan's father, do you mean? As the Knight of Famine tells him, yeah, King Meliodas, much to Issei's surprise. Since Issei's from the future, I'm curious to know about what he wants to know about Meliodas. It is very unlikely that Issei has ever met his grandfather. He's heard stories, but doesn't know the full truth.
Tell me about when you were young, Grandpa.
Oh, Sonny, those were crazy times. My friends and I were out of control.
Tristan has returned home back to the castle of Leonis. Much to the worry and a little bit of annoyance of the help. Please, Prince Tristan, be a little more patient. They tried to keep the prince away from his parents. They're both resting at the moment. We were told not to let anyone in. As the prince barges through them, telling him, I won't take long, just reporting back. And then he sees Isolde, his fiancée, before their door, guarding it with her life. Her solid demeanor crumbles and tears of sadness flow from Isolde's eyes. Tristan rushes past her and opens the door to his parents' room, where he sees the truth. He sees what has become of Queen Elizabeth after her battle against Cath, lying there lifeless in their bed, and Meliodas just watching over her. Meliodas does not look away from Elizabeth. He does not turn his eyes towards their son. Yet, he does speak to him while still looking at his wife's lifeless body. Elizabeth won't open her eyes. She likely never will again. He tells his son about her noble sacrifice as she lays there practically lifeless. She tapped into her divine powers despite having a human body, all to protect the 7 deadly sins and our citizens, much to Tristan's shock and disbelief. Forgive me, Tristan. I'm sorry I couldn't protect your mother. It was painful to tell his son the truth, and even painful to say this. It's all a void now. I have no idea what I should do any longer. The demon who had spent 3,000 years trying to break Elizabeth's curse at least had a goal, an idea, something to do. All of his efforts, 3,000 years of suffering, had led to this. Tristan doesn't say a word. He merely turns his back and leaves his father to continue looking over his mother, leaving his parents alone so he can accept the truth. Tristan looks up at the starry night sky, trying to process everything that just happened within like the last 24 hours. Well, what should I do after losing Mama and one of my best friends? Like I could say that to him. Tristan thinks back to the time when Meliodas met Elizabeth, at least at the beginning of the series. Papa and Mama shared the same destiny for 3,000 years. I couldn't even imagine how much of a presence she was for him. Elizabeth was his driving force, and now that drive is gone. Tristan is just laughing, probably trying to not make a big deal or be over dramatic. So he's kind of in the denial stage of all this, asking Isolde, "What do you think I should do?" With a blush in her cheeks, Isolde tells her beloved prince, "No matter what you decide to do, I will remain your ally to the end, and I'll constantly be at your side." You picked yourself a real good woman there, Tristan. The prince turns with tears in his eyes, asking, "Can I depend on that?" Ending chapter 249 with Isolde comforting her suffering prince in her voluptuous bosoms. I'm so sorry I said that. And so we end chapter 249 with the Knight of Pestilence, unsure of what to do, but at least from here on, he'll have the continued support of his beloved fiancée, Isolde. The truth has come out in many ways. Everyone now knows that Lancelot has turned coat, and now they must prepare to take him on, even if now it's abundantly clear that he has been holding back, and his true potential now as Chaos Lancelot is something to be feared. And now we have Tristan Leonis now aware of the truth about his mother and father. This could be the motivation Tristan needs to become stronger. He needs to be on Lancelot's level, not just for the sake of the world, but also for the sake of his mother. Perhaps through rigorous training and whatever is to come, he'll not only find a way to defeat Lancelot and save his best friend, but also rescue his mother from a living death. We are about to reach chapter 250, which many leaks have said to be titled Chaos Lancelot. With unlimited magic and the power of chaos at his side, what will Lancelot do to Britannia, and how will everyone retaliate against this new, formidable foe? We'll have to see next time in chapter 250. If you love 7 Deadly Sins and 4 Nights of the Apocalypse material, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more content coming your way very soon. And be prepared for the next chapter review next week. This has been Dante from the Anime Underworld, and I'll see you mortals later.